Warning: this story contains heavy themes of blood, gore, suicide, sexual assault, self-harm, and yandere themes. This story also contains spoilers for manga and anime. Listeners' discretion is advised. Okay, guys, so this is a recap because this has been a while since this has been out. So basically, the listener, his female family has been cursed with this incurable beauty that anyone who dares look at them becomes obsessed with them, beyond obsessed. And how we got here is that you escaped from, I forgot where, and decided to be a demon slayer. And throughout your time being a demon slayer, some of the people saw your face, and wow, now they like you. And now you're here right after Muzan's defeat, I think, if I'm correct, because holy moly, I forgot. And now everyone's trying to turn you back to normal because you are just, in the sun. So, yeah. But, basically, I've been reading Sanemi, Tengen, and, Giyu. There is 8 chapters. So, be prepared for these chapters in the weekend. Okay, anyways, let's go! Aftermath. The sun hung low in the sky as the butterfly estate nestled in the hills, its vibrant blossoms now dimmed by the shadows of recent battles. Inside, the atmosphere was heavy with silent, protruded only by the occasional rustle of fabric or the soft footfalls of the Kakashis. The demon slayer course, weary and broken, lay bedridden, each one nursing wounds both visible and hidden. Tanjiro woke first, his body heavy with fatigue and his heart racing with endurance. Memories of the fierce battle lingered, intertwining with the thoughts of the former Phoenix Pillar, whose face haunted him even in his dreams. A shiver ran through him as he recalled the moment Muzan fused with her, a fleeting glimpse of power that had left them all yearning. She had every possible chance to consume him. He knows that, yet he saw the reluctance in her eyes. He knows that she's still in there. We need to find her, he mumbled to himself, pushing against the sheets that felt like lead. The whisper of his voice echoed around the quiet room. Next to him, Rengoku stirred, his fiery hair tousled and his expression still one of distress. The others were not too far, all in similar conditions. The reality of their assumption sank as they glanced around the dimly lit room. The butterfly pillar lay nearby, her gaze fixed on the ceiling, her mind tangled in thoughts she couldn't assent. She seemed the weight of obsession pulling at each of them like an invisible thread, a force that made it difficult to breathe. We can't rush into danger. We're not ready, she finally said, her voice gentle counterpoint to Tanjiro's favor. The Phoenix Demon now had power greater than any of them can comprehend. It seems that she was able to resist consuming humans at the critical moment when the sun began to rise. But who is it to say she will continue to abstain from the one intake desire that all her kind possess? Rushing to find her, no matter how much they all cared for her well-being and safety of innocent. It would be suicide in their condition. Sanemi lay in the corner, staring at the wood beams overhead, frustrated, radiating from him. Yin, that damn bastard Muzan has a complete hold on her now. She needs us more than ever. He admits to arise, but he fell back against his pillow, a grimace on his face, the nagging ache in his body as a shriek reminder of the battle. But the ache in his heart was worse, an insatiable longing that clawed at the inside of him. Meanwhile, Mitsuri had been watching them all with concern, her delicate fingers tracing the patterns of the blanket. We need to heal first. If we push ourselves, we'll only put everyone else in more danger. Her voice was soft, but the confidence held it ancient more than maturity. As they agreed and faltered, the shadow around them deepened. The once vibrant estate felt like a cage, each room filled with echoes of their mature longing. It wasn't just the desire to protect her. It was an obsession that burned with a relentless fire, a hunger that twisted their hearts. As night fell, the moonlight spilled into the windows, bathing the rooms of the butterfly estate in a silvery glow. Tanjiro laid awake, staring into the darkness, wrestling with his thoughts. He could feel her presence lingering just out of reach, an ethereal whisper in his mind. "I won't let you go," he mumbled, a vow to the void. In the stillness, he could almost hear her voice, soft and haunting. The bond they shared was not merely one of obsession. It was a connection forged through pain and longing. The former Phoenix Pillar was such a warm compassion that had far surpassed any that he had seen before had become a part of him. And in that moment, he understood that he would do anything to protect her, even if it meant facing the depths of his own desire. As sleep finally claimed him, the dreams that developed him were not filled with peace, but with a vision of a world where they were together, where the chaos of their lives was replaced with a serene tranquility, but that world felt farly lost in the shadows of their individual fates. In the garden, the wind shifted, and the echoes of their obsession swirled like autumn leaves. Each one reminded that they were not yet free. Their fate had only just begun, and the night was thick with the promise of chaos yet to unfold. The night cloaked the butterfly estate in a veil of shadows, but the moonlight glimmered like shades of glass scattered across the ground. In a makeshift prison not far from the tranquil gardens, 3 figures stirred within the dim confines, their breaths heavy with the weight of their new existence. Once feared as some of the most powerful existence, the upper moons now faced the unreality grip of humanity, fragile, uncertain, and profoundly disoriented. Kokoshibo, tall and imposed even in his demised form, leaned against the cold stone wall, his eyes now dull with the realization of his newfound vulnerability. Memories of his life as a demon flooded back, powers coursing through his veins, the thrill of the battle, the feeling of invincibility. "Now what am I?" he mused briefly, glancing at the iron bars that confined them. The despair of their new reality yawned at him like a reckless tide. Yet within that tide, a similar thought emerged. We must find her. Akaza paced this small cell, reckless energy raking in the air around him. How did it come to this? The memories of the past battles echoed like distant thunders on his mind. As a demon, he was relished the thrill of combat, the rush of exhilaration. But now, stripped of his power and purpose, he felt empty, a hollow shell of the warrior he once was. Yet the thought of Yin, the woman they were sworn to protect, who had now become their leader, their progressor, ignited a flicker of hope within him. "We can't stay here," he mumbled, his voice low but laced with determination. "She needs us. We need her." Doma sat crisscrossed on the floor, a serene smile printed on his face that belied the storm of emotions surging within. The irony of his situation was not lost on him once. He had relished the chaos of life and death, but now he was merely a human, caught in a web of its own desires. Yet even with this vulnerability, the thought of the listener brought both warmth and anxiety to his now beating heart. "What if she doesn't need us anymore?" he suggested, his tone light yet edged with urgency. "We're nothing without our abilities." Kokoshibo's gaze sharpened, his resolve callousing. "She is the progressor now. Her strength is unparalleled, but she is also alone." The pain of that struck him like a blade. He felt a harsh of protectancy urge within him, a feeling he had never had allowed himself to embrace. They had sacrificed everything to serve their demonic desires, but now They had the chance to protect something far more precious than mere power. As the moon climbed higher, casting silver light through the bars, Akaza took a step forward towards the door. "We have to escape," he declares, a fierce glint lighting his eyes. "This prison cannot hold us. We cannot waste time." With that, he pressed his ear against the door, listening intently for the sound of guards or any hint of freedom. Doma rose to join him, his expression uncharacteristically serious. "How? We're weaker now, barely shadows of what we used to be." The realization sank in. Their once legendary abilities had been stripped away. The fear of failure weighed heavily on them, a reminder of their mortality. Kokoshibo nodded, his voice steady. "Our strength may be demolished, but our resolve is stronger than ever. We can use our minds, our instincts. We know how to fight." He gestures to the shadows around them, where the faint light of moonlight illumined a crack in the wall. "Look, if we can create a diversion, we might just slip through." Akaza's mind raced. "I can draw the guards away. If I can make them think there's a disturbance..." He glanced at Kokoshibo, now was already considering the plan. "I'll do it," he stated, confidence lacing his words. "But we need to be cautious. If we're caught..." Doma's voice trailed off, the weight of their predicament hanging heavily in the air. "Then we fight," Kokoshibo said, determined, igniting a flame within him. Before he had embraced immortality, he was still a renowned swordsman. As the plan took shape, a deep bond formed between them, stronger than they had known in their past lives as demons. Each of them was actually aware of their humanity now, a reminder of their vulnerability and desires. But that same humanity brought with it a favor to protect one they cherished. The hour approached, the moon reaching its zest. When Akaza took a deep breath, he stepped to the front of the cell, heart pounding, and began to shout. "Help! We're under attack! There's a breach in the perimeter!" His voice echoed, each word filled with raw desperation. The sounds of footsteps echoed in corridors outside. Kokoshibo felt his heart race. He nodded to Doma, and together they prepared for the moment. Akaza's voice rose louder, filled with anguish, drawing them to the guards. When the door creaked open, slayers rushed in, confused etched on their face. That was their moment. Kokoshibo and Doma spread into action, overwhelming the guards with a sudden ferocity fueled by purpose. With every move, Kokoshibo felt the thrill of battle return, a ghost of his former self surging within him. That is it. The weight of the bars, the confinement, they melted away with each strike. Doma's laughter, wild and exhilarating, ran out as he joined the fray. A joy he hadn't felt in centuries. As the last guard fell, Akaza turned to his companions, breathless, but excited. "Let's go." Together they slipped into the night, their hearts racing, the moonlight guiding their path. The butterfly estate laid behind them, a prison left in the dust, and ahead loomed the promise of their new destiny. Kokoshibo felt a fierce determination course through him, a fire that could not be extinguished. "We'll protect her. We will protect our progenitor." The obsession that had once bound them to darkness now transformed into a guiding light. They were no longer mere followers of chaos. They were warriors reborn, ready to reclaim their purpose and embrace the one who had awakened their humanity. As they ventured into the depths of the forest, shadows dancing around them, the bond between them grew stronger, pulsing with the urgency of their quest. A quest not just for freedom, but for the heart of the one who had changed everything.